Broncos offense, Bills defense. What are you checking out on this side, Chuck?
Man, this is confusing to me because I feel like we kind of got on this type of matchup early in the season when the Broncos played the Ravens. And we were like, oh, this thing, like, because it was a 9-point spread in that game.
Oh,
and
that's right.
The Ravens defense at that time was pretty bad, very bad, actually. And I was thinking, like, man, I don't think the Broncos will win, but they could keep it close and they lose 41-10. And when I'm looking at this matchup here, I feel kind of the same way. Like, if you just take the past, 4 or 5 games of Buffalo football, just their defense, since week 13, they're dead last EPA per dropback, 31st% of plays that goes for a first down or a touchdown, 29th and third down conversion rate, 30th net yards per pass. I mean, this has been an abject disaster for them on defense over the past month or so. And remember, the 2-week stretch that we were freaking out about Josh Allen and the stats that he put up, they lost one of those games, right. Like which is what made it even crazier. Yeah, Josh Allen gave you 6 touchdowns versus the Rams, and you lose that game. So this is probably a major concern going into this game. But at the same time, I just don't know which version of the Broncos offense we're going to get this week, right? Because they've had some games like when they played, against defenses who also stink, like the Falcons. They carved them up, and they had a great plan for some of the blitz looks. They had a great plan in the screen game. And then there's games like the Colts game a couple weeks ago where you look at the finals, right? They couldn't do anything. I remember they scored 31 points and they averaged 3.3 yards per play in that game. So it's just, and this is, I feel like this is normal when you have a rookie quarterback. There's just such a wide range of outcomes for your offense. But, I'm looking at this 9-point spread and I'm just like, the best version of this Denver offense can score on Buffalo as they're currently constructed right now. They should be able to run the ball. I think Sean Payton has had a great year as a play caller, kind of mitigating some of the limitations of having a rookie quarterback and, figuring out like which receivers are working on the fly. But at the same time, like it's still Buffalo, and I keep trying to like separate the stats that I'm looking at that are just objectively bad from like what I feel like I know about Sean McDermott and some of these players.
Yeah.
Like if there is someone that can be prepared and kind of get up for this, he's been a guy that's been able to figure that out for his defense over the past few years. Maybe, not the perfect coach sometimes in terms of game management or analogies off the field, but still, a pretty damn good coach that at least in this game should at least be able to give like a rookie quarterback some headaches. So I keep going back and forth with this 9.5-point spread, but I don't really know which way I fall on it as far as just Broncos offense versus Bills defense, because there's a wide range of outcomes for the Broncos offense, and the Bills defense has been pretty bad over, the past, back half of the season. So for me, that's a TBD because I can't really call it either way.
I'm kind of that way too. I kind of been like, can either side take advantage of the other? Like, he just kind of feels like that. Like both sides aren't perfect. Both sides do some stuff well, and both sides do some stuff just eh. But the thing is just like, all right, well, it's not like the other team is a juggernaut that's going to just like, oh yeah, you can't do this. They're going to pound away at it. So I'm right there with you. I kind of was trying to find an angle on it, and okay, maybe the Broncos go big bodies because the Bills like to be in nickel. It's like, all right, well, that wasn't really that great because the Broncos run game isn't like this big burly one that's going to just road grade you like the Ravens or the Lions or something like that. And, when you watch a Broncos offense, they are really, really good at screens. And so I maybe thought like, okay, how do the Bills look against shorter throws? The Bills run a lot of cover 2. They run a lot of zone overall. They run cloud coverages, which is cover 2, cover 6, the second highest rate. So I looked there. All right, so screens, and how do the Broncos do, and Bo Nix does against cloud coverages? Cloud coverages, Nix isn't great. He's 20th in EPA, 24th in success rate, pressured at the lowest rate because the Broncos offensive line is very good in pass pro, but then 24th in average depth of completion. So that to me means when you go against cover 2, you want to ideally push it over the top, or there's other underneath areas you can attack if defenders get depth. So to me, that sounds like a lot of stuff underneath. So that means it's got to be on the Bills linebackers. Is Milano fully healthy? He's battled injuries. He's been playing. Is he fully healthy? The Bills linebackers are better than they have been, but still battled injuries and everything. Their pass rush is pretty good, but going against the Broncos offensive line, that's really good. That's not the best matchup. It's just like a lot of those. Can they take advantage of it? So the one area I looked at was Sean Payton's been on his game with screens and swing screens and designer screens and just underneath stuff. I mean, swings to Marvin Mims is like one of the most dangerous plays in the NFL this year, which is just so funny. Bills have allowed the most pass attempts in the NFL behind the line of scrimmage. They've faced the most screen passes in the NFL this year. They actually have 4 interceptions on throws behind the line of scrimmage, which is a funny stat, but they're 27.
Wow.
Isn't that
4
funny?
interceptions? Yeah.
4 interceptions on throws behind the line of scrimmage. I know. 27th in success rate on passes behind the line of scrimmage. 26th in success rate against screens. Pretty good on not allowing explosive passes, like so they tackle them, but you're able to nickel and dime and chip away if you screen. It's a huge part of the Broncos offense. Nix is targeted receivers behind the line of scrimmage a quarter of the time. 3rd highest in the NFL, 4th most yards, most touchdowns on screens or on throws beyond the line of scrimmage. He has 79 pass attempts on screens this year, most in the NFL. That to me is huge. So, because you're going to see it, and you see in games like, I mean, it was the Chiefs backups, but even recent weeks with the Broncos offense, those become not only just first downs for the Broncos or even nice plays, they've turned into touchdowns. If guys aren't tackling, if guys aren't communicating well. So I'll be curious if they just, I mean, I'm not curious actually, they're going to do them, but how well the Bills defend them I think is going to be huge. How well they tackle. We've gotten 2 of our key points so far have been blocking and tackling, which should tell you a lot about playoff football a little bit.